All right, guys, are you struggling to figure out what entry to take, or are you struggling and tired of taking a trade and it's going back to break even, or even stopping you out and going to your take profit? Well, I'm about to show y'all what the daily flip model on how to catch the proper entry. This is Counter Range 3, episode 3, and you don't want to miss out. Watch toward the end. I'm also going to give you the next analysis on what I think gold might do for next trading week. So, as we know, Um, if you understand CRT counter range 3, the daily count, this is the continuation model, right? So if the previous day is bullish, right, as you can see right here, when we're bullish on this previous day, what we can expect is for price to push down. The price must go bearish before it goes back up. So on the opening, we want to see price retrace down and then make a clear flip, break a structure, and then continue going higher. That is the basic anatomy of how a candle operate. In order for it to go up, it must go down before it goes back up. So what that look like within structure on a 15-minute time frame, you will see price opening and then you see price coming down, and then eventually you'll be seeing price make that clear breaker structure. And on that retest, that'll be your entry, and then your stop loss will be at the low of the wick. So initially, you're actually buying within the wick, not really the wick, but you're buying after the breaker structure of that wick. So you're literally catching your entry, almost kind of going back to the opening, and then stop loss would be right at the low of the wick. And then what we're anticipating for price to not come back down to the low of the current low, and we expect to go continue to go back up higher. And the goal is not try to catch the whole entire move. We just try to catch the main move of the day. So I use aim for 1%, 1.30%, and 1.7%. These are guaranteed easy target that price will always go to, especially if you're in the right direction. Now, what that look like? That look like this right here. So you can see how the previous day was bullish, right? And I'm gonna show y'all on the chart on how to catch these entries. So just kind of give y'all overall brief view of what it would look like. So you can see price pushed up, right, and then price came down, right. On that next day, after an expansion, on that next day, we had the opening, and what did price did? Price came down, got a little choppy, and then eventually it broke out. So you really could have had two entries. Your entry could have been right here, and then stop off would have been at the low. So you can see where price retraced down. Price always retrace down to 0.30, either 0.10, 0.30, or 0.60%. Always, especially when it's in a true direction. And then we expect price to create that flip. So we can see that we was trading between 0.30 and 0.60%. And then we got that flip eventually. Entry would have been here. Stop loss would have been at the low of this wick right here. And guess what? You caught this whole entire move right here. This happens almost every single day. And like I said, price is fractal, so it happens on every time frame. But what I like to do is I like to only use the daily and the 4 hour when it comes down to this method right here. This is why I call it the daily flip model, because you're basing it off the daily, and then we use our 4 hour candle um, to make sure everything lines up in our 15-minute time frame for our entries. So now we're going to go to the chart to show you how this look like. All right, so like I said before, price was bullish, right? So usually after an expansion, right, naturally, even going towards here, if we look right, we can see here, it was the first day, it was bullish day here, and then price spiked up. We can see how price retraced this a tad a little bit, made a clear breaking structure. Entry would have been here, and then stop loss would have been at the low of this wick, and then easy target. You don't have to even catch the whole move, even though the whole day was bullish, but you have to catch the whole move. Even on this day, even though price came back down, but if you look, we had the opening right here, right? Price pushed down. Well, price actually pushed up first. So in this case, price actually just shot up and then she came down. So depends on where your target at. You would have either had a break even or a loss. But on this day, there was a perfect day after this confirmation right here. Price expanded back up, bullish, let you know, okay, hey, look, there are signs that we could be going back up higher, right? So what do we expect? We expect price to make a retracement. So here's our opening of the new day. And once price come to this new day, I'm gonna zoom in for this for y'all. Once price come in on this new day, right? We expect price to retrace down just a tad a little bit and create that breaking structure. All right, so price already traced down. Let's see where we at. So far, we're at, from the opening, we are now at 0.29%. And you can see how the momentum is clearly slowing down. So if I go back, put this on the candles, and I do both, so you can see how we got a clear structure. So price here, we're still in a nice bearish momentum, so we want to see a clear shift. Go to the opening, about 33% from the opening. And then we just expect, so once price give you that clear flip, so this is a clear breaking structure. Clear, it broke this right here. Clear breaking structure. So at that point, right, if we go back to the candle, let me see how that look. This is a clear spike right here, right? So I might just wait to see if we get a nice little pullback. We don't. So this is the pullback. This is the little minor pullback it gives. And then boom, we got a nice pullback. So this is the last down candle right here before the up move, right here. So then I'm gonna wait to see get a nice positive reaction. So I might put a block right here to see how it's gonna react off of this. And the reason why I put this because, like I said, it's the last down candle before the up move. So I want to see how we're gonna react off of this. So you can see price comes down a little bit more, right? A little choppy. All right, price showing a positive reaction. So at that point, price is already done came down to 45.45% already. What that look like on the line graph, that's just right here. So we want to wait till we see a clear breaking structure so we can see how price is back in this zone right here. And price continues, so we just choppy right now. And okay, boom, this is a clear breaking structure. You can see how price is here, and this is a clear break right here. What that look like on the candles, that's price coming right here. So you can see how price is kind of here with it. So at that point, I'm going to buy right here because this is a clear break right here. If we look, price was choppy and then it broke out of this range. Now you have really two options. You can either wait for it to break out of here, or you can wait for it to enter here. So I'm gonna enter in right on this this break right here. So entry gonna be here, and then stop loss is gonna be at the low of this wick right here. And then I'm gonna target at least about 1.30% from the low. So I'll take low, put my measuring tool, and 1.30% is about around this range. So 4237. I just put it at 430 to be honest. So let's see. All right, and then price goes up from here. It goes up, and like I said, the goal is this is about close to a 1-to-1 risk reward. I usually aim for 2-to-1 risk reward at least, but the goal is to catch, you know, and then you could have even got like another entry right here if it would have pulled back. Actually, let's see if it did pull back. Yeah, so once it pulled back to here, you could have got into another entry right here, and then also you could just take your stop loss, move it up to here. Now, the reason why I don't put my entries at break even, to be honest, because a lot of times, like I said, price is gonna always trace down before it goes up, right? And you don't want to move your stop loss to break even, especially because a lot of times price will come back down to your break even before it goes up. I'm gonna have to do a whole nother video on that because that's a little bit more kind of going more in depth about that. But as you can see, prices continue to go up. very choppy. Price comes back down to this range. So just imagine if I would have put that break, I would have been close to being stopped out. So for me, it's really just all about, and then boom, target hit. So target would have been done just like that. So this is why I say, like, the goal is just to catch the main move of the day. Like, that's a lot. That's a lot catching right there. So you're not trying to, and after you're done, so this is simply what that would look like. Entry here, stop loss below here. Let me put the line graph on. All you're doing is waiting for a clear break. You're waiting for price to retrace. And then if we look at the RSI, right, this is a little more advanced, but you see how price is overbought. Another thing I either use as a measurement tool is when price is overbought, I like to see at least below the baseline or even oversold. When it's at least below the baseline or oversold, and they create a clear breaking structure, that's another clear sign that it's safe for me to get in. Because if price is overbought, right, I don't want to get in when price is overbought, because when price is overbought, usually you're going to get some kind of retracement or reversal. So if I know that, I'm not going to get in because I know I'm getting in at the wrong time. So this is in simple terms what the daily flip model is just doing this repeat pattern over and over again. And what you're doing is you're allowing yourself to be able to get in instead of buying right here. Some folks are buying up here. Like, don't get me wrong, like for y'all scalpers might work, but this is what works for me. To me, it just makes more sense to get in around here than to try to get in way around here, because then at that point you're risking it. Especially if price, if you don't believe me, just back test this. Price usually, now with gold lately been moving about 3% because of the volatility and what's going on around the world. But usually usually on the average, gold might move to 1.72% in a day. But like I said, because the volatility been going on, it's been moving up to 3%. So I just go for easy target. But usually around the ranges, especially if it does it from Asian and London session, usually doing New York, it's gonna manipulate. But I'm gonna go ahead and show y'all. This is in simple terms of what the daily flip model is. I'm gonna show y'all what I think next week analysis is gonna be like. So I'm about to give y'all a quick top-down analysis, like I promised, for those who stay to the end. All right, so we can see here, and then look, here's the crazy part about this. This was that same trade right here, right? Just imagine if you would have tried to got greedy, right? You got stopped out eventually. So this is why I always say just go for the main move, because that was that entry right there. Catching that entry here, catching all the way up, and price started getting choppy, and then broke through. Look how if you was try to go for 2% or 3%, you would have had that break even, and then guess what? You got stopped out, and you either broke even or took a loss. So this is why I just try to go for easy targets and just catch the main move and just be done with it. Now let's go into gold. Now, what I think gold could be doing for next week. All right, so let's go to the weekly. Let's see how the weekly been doing. So I'm giving y'all a top down analysis right now. I did one video on top down analysis on price. There was this right here. So you can see it's kind of some of the stuff still. I delete some of it, but you can see it's still here. So you can see how price, the CRT model where price came down, we closed indecisive, and on this candle took off. I made a video about that, about what it was going to do. And I was targeting these highs right here, and to my surprise, price took off like crazy, more than that. But now we got this huge rejection, so this is gonna be kind of interesting going into this week. So overall bullish, but definitely closed very bearish. So I'm going to delete this because I don't need this no more. So first thing that when I see something like this, right, the first thing that they're gonna catch my attention is that the fact that we closed overall bullish, but we had this huge drop down, right, which shows that there is some selling pressure, right? So now, so this don't really confirm. Like, I mean, overall we're in an up momentum, but this candle closed very weak, especially right back within this range. So we're gonna kind of see how the daily is doing. All right, so right now, right, we still close bullish. So when I see that the weekly, go back to the weekly. When I see that the weekly closed bullish, what this tells me is that we still can have some bullish signs going into next week, but we also can have some selling setups. You know what I'm saying? Some selling pressure. So price might want to push down before it goes back up again this week. Now we look at the daily, right? Now in the daily, right, we have a nice clear breaking structure, but we also on a support level. So this is very key right here. So you can see here that this is the last up candle before the down moves. I'm gonna block this right here. So whenever I have like the last up candle, this is like, I guess you can call say a daily order block, because like I said, it's the last up candle, you know. So this is the last up candle before the up move. So I'm not gonna this is an area where, okay, hey, price reacted off of, right? Which we know that. So the fact that this is the area, we know that we're coming off of this, but then we also come into a support level as well. So just look at this, right? We can see that price came down and then we came up. Now we're back on this support level. So, but we did close bearish on this previous candle. So you do know, even though we're on a support level, price can easily push up and then come down. So what I'm going to do is, I'm gonna keep this here right here, because this can operate as, I just take in this, put it here. This kind of operate as like a resistance. Only second it can go as a resistance, because you gotta think price came up, came down. It was supposed to be a support level, then it broke through. So this is actually a level I can use as a resistance for price to either retrace back up into here and then go down. It don't have to come into here, but ideally it can retrace up a little bit, or maybe even into this range. It can retrace up into here, then go down. Point is, you can expect price to either trace up a little bit, then come down further. But let's say if the overall day closed bullish, if the overall day closed bullish, especially off of this support level, then yeah, I would expect the next day to continue back up higher, to be honest. So really, going into that Sunday might just be a watchful day, but for sure I can expect price to definitely retrace up and go down. I'm definitely expecting that that Sunday going to that Sunday opening going to that Monday for definitely some bearish pressure. But like I said, if it overall closed bullish on that day, then I would be looking to buy. But right now, because of how it closed like this and with this formation right here, yeah, I'm looking forward to continue in this direction. Unless it closed overall bullish, then I would change my bias going to that Tuesday. So and y'all gotta realize, sometimes waiting is still a good time. It's good to sit still and just wait to see what price is going to do. You don't have to always trade every single day. Sometimes it's good to just wait to see what price going to do, you know. So that's kind of like my input on that. And let's go to the 4 hour. To the 4 hours. So you can see here. So once again, I'm gonna delete this. This don't even matter. So here's the 4 hour. You can see here that this is where that support level where price was at. Like I told y'all, from a daily perspective, price will trace up. This can operate as a support. It went from a support, to a resistance. So price was up here, and now we had a resistance. So what that means is, we was going up, and then we came here. We were supposed to respect it, but we didn't. So now what can happen? Price can easily push back up into here and go back down. How did that align? It aligns with our daily perspective. So this is the 4 hour chart, but we have this overall view of daily. So it aligns with this, because why? The basic anatomy of a candle is to see price push up, create that breaking structure, and then see it go lower. So if anything, I'm definitely more on the selling side, definitely going to that Sunday opening to see price. It looked like price can definitely continue pushing down lower, especially into these levels right here. We can start coming down to these levels, and then you gotta think, we got levels like this. This kind of give y'all the broader view of, you know, where we at, where price can potentially drop down to if it is planning on dropping and it is showing signs. Y'all gotta think we could potentially, let me show y'all. So this is from a quarterly perspective right here. So you gotta think on the last quarter. So what you're seeing right now is, this is what price did for the overall last 3 months. Price can easily push right back down to here. And another thing you gotta look at, price can also easily push back down to 3515. So you 3,515. So you can see that price is here, right? Price can easily come all the way back down to this level right here. Easily. Because you gotta think it's an area that that has not been tapped back into, you know. So I can definitely see that happening, you know. But at the end of the day, it's anticipation. You really don't know. You have to go by what price is showing you. So right now, currently price is showing us more selling pressure. So that's what we're going to continue to follow until it flip back bullish. But I do believe the overall trend is going to still be bullish. I think we might just be having some selling pressure right now. So let's go back to the 4-hour. So like I said, as you can see, right, you can see that we had this nice clear area right here. So just based off of this formation right here, price can push, like I said, push up and then come down lower, and we can start seeing lows because now it done broke back out, and we are operating out of this right here. So you can see how price came from here, this level here. So this is a key area. I'm gonna mark right here. This is a key area. This is the last up candle before price hours. I put on day 2. This is the last up candle before price came down. So since we in that perspective and we made another clear breaking structure, yeah, I'm gonna just kind of continue going with that flow until it starts showing me something different. All right, so now let's kind of go to the 15-minute time frame. So you can see here, we got everything lined up on what we're looking at, and then we can kind of see how, okay, hey, look, price is kind of here. It already broke out this range, right? And then you can see here, let's show this right here. So we can kind of see here how price is kind of operating right now. So we can see that price is definitely, and then if you put it from a weekly candle, let's see. So you can see how that previous week was bullish, but definitely closed. So we definitely gonna have some selling pressure for sure. So I'm definitely more on the sell side. So if anything, I'm probably definitely gonna be more kind of pushing towards bearish going into this week unless something changed. So let me change this over to here. But yeah, just make sure if y'all like the content and you got a lot of value in this content, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the channel. God, we'll be posting more content like this, especially every Saturday, all these series. And also I will be posting updates on trades that I take. I do work a full-time job, so I don't day trade full-time quite yet. So sometimes it could be hard for me to, make videos all the time. So I just do what I can. But yeah, this is what we're looking at right now. So it's looking pretty nice. Definitely seeing some great setups, right now. So definitely this is a key support level that we are right now. So this is definitely something to watch out for sure, to see how we gonna react right here. So, and then look at the RSI. We also oversold on a 15 on the RSI, so that's gonna be kind of interesting. So, but yeah, so that's my perspective. That's what I'm looking at, and I'll see y'all next video. Peace.